So we've seen a lot of brands now launch a version of a Mini Driver. Very popular for a lot of golfers, and we've got the brand new one from Titleist, so the GTS300 Mini Driver. A nice carry on from their previous Mini Driver. We're going to talk about the differences, talk about the tech in that, and also put it up against the Titleist GTS3 standard driver. And let's see what the difference is in performance and numbers, whether this is a good option for you to take out on that golf course, and maybe a driver replacement, or is it a 3-wood replacement as well? We're going to find out in this video. Okay, so new Mini Driver from Titleist GTS300. Clue is in the name against the previous model, which was the GT280. This 300 now is a slightly larger profile head. We've got a 305cc head. So a little bit larger. We've got a little bit of tech we're going to talk about in this, but we're also going to pop this up against a conventional GTS3 driver. I've already hit those shots. I've got the data on TrackMan, so we're going to hit some with this Mini and maybe just compare it up against that traditional driver and see what the difference is in the data, the ball speed, the launch, the spin, the accuracy, and the difference of maybe a distance, maybe to see whether this is something that you would want to put in your bag as a driver replacement, or whether it would be more of a 3-wood replacement from the fairway. Okay, so let's take a look at this from that playing position. So as we put that down by the golf ball, it's a fantastic look. As we see with all Titleist drivers, for me, it's a great shape and it sits incredibly square. This is 13 degrees of loft. There is only one loft option, but you have got the playability with the sure fit sleeve here. So we can move that loft by up to 1.5 degrees extra in loft, taking up to 14.5, and we can also come down by 0.75 of a degree, as well as some lie angle changes. So we have got that adjustability in the loft, but at the set of that A1, it sits fantastically square. Just a small GTS logo on the top, black gloss finish, and we see the grooves. And obviously with the 13 degrees, we see plenty of club face there, which gives us that little bit of confidence that we're going to create a little bit of stability with the actual ball flight potentially. So let's get underway with this 13 degree. Like I say, got this set at A1 positioning. Okay, touching the heel a little bit on the left-hand side, but that felt really solid. Great sound to that driver there. And we can see there, launch 14.4, spin 2.8 area, carry 253, run out 266. Quite a nice start. So you may have noticed I'm actually wearing a glove in this particular video, and I've been wearing these now for quite a while out on the golf course and testing them. This is from a company called GX Golf, and they've actually become a channel sponsor for the coming few months. Really impressed with these high quality, tall level cabretta leather, but at a fraction of the price. You may sort of well notice that a lot of high quality leather gloves are getting up to £20, over £20. These are exceptional value. I've popped a little link up underneath this video, and they've given me a 10% discount code for my viewers. So if you punch in Michael10 in the checkout on their website, you'll get a 10% discount on your order. Make sure you check out the bundles as well for extra discount, plus my 10% become really good value. Fantastic golf gloves. Solid ball flight. Very straight on that one. Don't want that one back. That's split in the fairway. Yeah, a little bit low in the club face there, wasn't it? So we see that spin just creeps a little bit, slightly low on that heel, but it's very accurate. And that's one of the reasons maybe why Titleist have gone to that 300 model, or 305cc, which is they're saying is creating a little bit more stability on those slight mishits. Becomes a little bit more friendly, a little bit higher MOI. It's got a deeper CG location. Now, there is 2 weights on the bottom of the sole here. We've got 11 gram weight and also a 3 gram weight. They can be flipped. At the moment, I've got the heavyweight 11 gram at the back. So that's going to promote a little bit more spin, a little bit more sort of launch. I'm going to flip that later in this video to the front, and we'll test it and see what that happens. And of course, we're going to put that up against the GTS3 Driver to see where those numbers sit in comparison to that. But as always, big fan of how that sits, especially as a Titleist driver. Does sit incredibly square, great shape on the head. Oh, just pulled that a little bit, but the sound's fantastic. There's a great crack to it. Very good sound, good feel off the club face. Just pulled that. That's me more than a driver. It's hanging on to maybe a generous fairway on TrackMan there, but I'll claim it's just hanging onto that fairway. So obviously with that 300 head, we've got the 13-degree loft. The shaft length comes in at 43.5 inches. So that's a good 2 inches shorter than a standard length of the Titleist Driver and many other drivers on the market. So that little combination, a little bit more loft, a little bit shorter golf club, helps to provide a little bit more control over the club, a little bit more maybe control over your ball flight, which is one of the reasons why minis have become very sort of popular. Again, it can be a fairway wood replacement, so you could easily hit this from the ground as well and have it as maybe a 3-wood replacement potentially. That's a good strike. That's the best strike of the lot. Okay, so I'm now going to move that 11 gram weight, the heavy weight, now into the front of the head. Okay, so they've got the 11 gram weight forward now. Let's hit some shots in this setup. That's a good hit. It seems to be a little bit more of a forward flight on that. That's a good strike. Launch 13, 2.5 spin. Yeah, nice distance. What you'll sort of notice here now, I've actually put my GTS3 Driver numbers up there, or dispersion up there as well. You see the white ring there was with the traditional driver. You can see the orange one there was with the weight in the back of the head, and now that blue one that's just popped up there now is with that heavy weight forward. So we'll get a bit of an idea, maybe just the differences of gapping, as maybe change the weights around on this with the spin and launch up against the driver as well. Strike again, just maybe a little bit of that left-hand side. Yeah, it looks a different flight to me. Definitely looks a little bit more low spin. Again, the strike was nice there. 12 launch, 3,000 spin, a little bit higher than what maybe that looked like. It looks a little bit more penetrating there, to be honest. That's a nice strike. That's a very different ball flight to what we see with that weight back. That's definitely a little bit more forward. A little bit flat at the peak. Yeah, you see that 2.5 spin. Strike was obviously good. Land angle 37. So very different when that weight goes in that front of the driver. Let's look at some numbers a little bit more detail between weight back, weight forward, and up against that GTS3 Driver. Okay, so when we look at the numbers here, we can see the GTS3 Driver along the bottom. This was the averages of the 5 or 6 shots that I hit with that. So we can see 110 club, 162, just short 162 ball, 12 launch, 2.3 spin, 273 carry, run out around that sort of 295 mark. Some pretty typical numbers for me with driver. Now, when you look at the Mini, you can see club head speed is going to drop, and it has. It's around that 105 to 106 mile an hour mark. Obviously 2 inches short than the driver shaft. That's where you're going to see the difference of club head speed in relation. When we look at the ball speed, there you can see 156.6, 154.2. So a little bit more ball speed with that heavier weight in the front of the head. That's generally sort of going to happen. Maybe a little caveat to that is if you do start missing the middle, it might gear affect you a little bit more, be a little bit less forgiving. So it depends on your ball strike and the flight that you want, whether you want to put that weight forward or back. A little bit of ball speed gain from that. Launch quite similar, around that 12 mark, but you can see a little about 500 revs less spin, again with that weight forward, which typically is what's sort of going to happen. So you can see that's giving me a little bit more, quite a bit of difference of carry number there because of that. And a little bit of difference of rollout. So you see 262 against my 273 with a driver, and obviously difference of 15 yards or so in terms of total distance. So it is shorter, it's going to be probably shorter, but it's not a million miles away from driver. So that obviously throws the question back to you as a viewer, and maybe if you do struggle a little bit with drive with control, and then you can get something that, okay, might be 10, 15 yards further back, but you might get it in play a little bit more often, then a Mini is a very good option. Make sure you go out and try it yourself. GTS300, post comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget GX gloves. There is a discount code under there, so if you want some high quality cabretta leather gloves at a fraction of the price, plus my 10% discount, go and check those guys out. Link under this video again. Appreciate you watching the video as always, and hopefully we'll catch you all very soon.